Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And here are some pictures from Christmas of 1990 with the Rosche family. And my dad's on the very right. I'm in the middle in the red shirt. And we're barbecuing 100 halves of chicken. That's 100 chickens cut in half, so that's 200 pieces to produce dinners along with desserts and full Christmas dinners for the folks in our community. And my dad and I helped every year doing that. And at the time, this was the Pearl River United Methodist Church, and there's our minister counting the money from all the sales of all the chicken dinners that we've sold during Christmas that year. And the money goes towards the church. As the chickens come off the grill, they go into styrofoam ice chests that are lined with foil so they can stay warm and continue to cook. And as we prepare everything else that goes with the meal. And then we'll have some more with desserts, the beverages, and the side dishes that go with the chicken. And here's Barb, one of my mom's friends from the choir, and she's in charge of all the desserts and keeping track of putting all the meals together and keeping track of all the food coming in and the food that will be going out for delivery. We'd like to ask that you please subscribe, hit the like button, and the notify to stay current with our content. Thank you. Now, here we are at Christmas at my house. That's my dad on the right and my two daughters, Shannon and Margot. This is 1990, so they are 5 and they are 7 that year. And here they are with a big pile of their toys, and that's right there by the front door and the beginning of the den that we have right there. And then here's a close-up of their big pile of toys as they're opening them up, producing lots of paper and boxes. They're going to have to be taken out later in the day, so stay tuned for that. And here's Margot in front and Shannon holding one of her toys as we zoom in on them. They had a fun party that year, lots of toys and lots of things to keep. And here's my brother John Larry Rosche, may he rest in peace. There he was that year sitting in my pa's easy chair, having a good time at Christmas that year with the whole family. And here's John and his son Johnny, and we're in the living room of my parents' house, and that's their bureau and dining room table, and a look into the kitchen. And over at Ma and Pa's house next door to mine, here we have my sister's kids, Daniel, Lance, and Jessica visiting from Alabama, Oneata, and my daughter Margot and my blonde-haired daughter Shannon as they're examining some toy together. And here's Laura Rosche, John and Donna's daughter, Johnny's sister, standing next to the Christmas tree over at Ma and Pa's house that year in Christmas. Laura and Johnny also like taking some time off to go lay in Ma's bed and watch her TV, get away from all the noise and watch a different program or do something different than we're all doing in the main part of the house. And here's Lana Rosche getting her pile of stuff, including the shelf my dad made for her with a heart, and it's got a rack on it for hanging your hat and your shawls and your coats and sweaters on. And then here's the sweater that my mom gave us that year so that Lana and I would have matching sweaters. And here's my mom with some of her presents, including her doormat to go on the carpeting in front of the front door. And she got a good haul of presents that year. She had a good time. Here she is going through some of her other presents and looking at them and reading all the instructions on them and having a good time. So stay tuned for some more fun, folks. And here's my mom preparing something. It looks like strawberries. And there is Daniel and Jessica and Lance. And those are my sister, Patricia Warden's children. And those are my nieces and nephews. And this is the Christmas tree over at my parents' house, Henry and Margie Rosche, with all the presents stuffed underneath it. Looks pretty sitting in their living room. And then during the course of the day, we shot video and stuff like that. Then we'd go over to my house and put it into the VCR so the girls could watch themselves from that morning opening presents on the television in their house. Now here's Margot with one of her new dolls playing there right in the transition from the den into the living room, and she's having a good time with that. And then for Christmas, I got a Camoys Christmas pipe, and there it is, the 1990 Camoy Christmas edition of their Christmas pipes. My other Christmas present that year from my dad was a new framing square. So now I have a nice new shiny one while I start on the addition on the back of the house, which is going to be the girls' bedrooms and all. Now here are my nephews, Daniel and Lance, and they're playing with my ninja Christmas sword. And they were big into knives and swords, and they still are, as far as I know. So there's a picture of them back in 1990. And this is one of my dad's favorite pastimes. He would sit there with a pack of Delta cards and play solitaire, and he would wear those cards out and have to go get a new pack out of the drawer and start with them. And then here he is with a pile of his gifts that he got for Christmas that year. He got a radio for his shop and a bunch of other stuff. He was quite surprised that year, and he really liked his radio, so now he can go out and listen to opera when he's working out in the field and get to listen to the Italian that he heard so much when he was a child. And here's a couple more pictures of the Christmas tree at Henry and Margie's house in Sixth Ward, Louisiana, Christmas of 1990, with all the presents shoved under the tree. And then here it is from another angle, looking the front door is being hidden behind the tree, but you kind of get the idea on the presents. Now there's Skippy and my sister Trish, and she's holding a dove on her hand. They brought it with her. It's one of their pets, and they're having a good time. Again, they're visiting from Oneonta, Alabama. And here's my daughter Shannon with one of her dolls, and she's going to be having a lot of fun with that and playing with it and producing a lot of trash. And all that trash from the paper and the boxes, several trash bags had to go out to the burn pile and get burned in the burn barrel for that year and Christmas, but that was how we took care of the trash back in that day. And here's Donna Rose Rosche and Johnny Rosche sitting on my parents' side sofa, and John sitting over in the recliner. But again, this was Christmas of 1990, and then to close it all out, here's the hearth next to my parents' wood insert fireplace and the front door of their house that year and Christmas of 1990. Forget buying expensive toys for your kittens and cats. We find that just taking the aircraft spruce box and the paper on the tile floor is more than enough amusement for them for hours.